Let's talk in this video about x and y intercepts. And this is a big part of how we graph and how we can make graphs and get a sense of where functions are. Now, an x-intercept is where we intersect the x-axis, okay? And a y-intercept is where we intersect the y-axis. So this is a pretty, I guess, easy concept at the beginning, because you could say, well, when I hit the x-axis, the x-intercept, when I hit this axis, you'll notice that y is equal to 0 along this entire thing. So we can write, all right, y is equal to 0 at the x-intercept. And likewise, on the y-intercepts, where we hit the y-axis, x is equal to 0. So again, we can say, all right, well, x is equal to 0 at the y-intercept. So if you had a function like this, you said y equals 4x plus 2, just a linear function, and you said, I want to figure out the x-intercept. Well, the x-intercept means y is equal to 0, and you have to figure out what x is. So you could subtract 2 and divide by 4 and reduce to -1/2. And you could say, okay, then this right here is the x-intercept. That's where y is equal to 0. For the y-intercept, this is a little bit easier. We don't know y, but we know that x has to be 0. Well, 4 times 0 plus 2, that's just 2. So we can say, all right, this is 2. And because it's a line, of course, we can easily just connect those like that. We can use those intercepts to get the graph. Let's talk about one that's a little bit harder. Let's say we had this parabola, x squared plus 4x plus 3. And if we wanted to find the x-intercept, we'd say, okay, I know y is 0, and I have to figure out what x's make it 0. And this is really where this can kind of get difficult. You got to break out all of your algebra tools. In this case, I would probably go to factoring. I would say, what two numbers add up to 4, multiply to 3? It's 1 and 3. So if this is set equal to 0, you'd say, well, -1 plus 1 would be 0. -3 plus 3 would be 0. These are the x-intercepts. Those are the values of x that give a y value of 0. Again, the y-intercept is always easier because all you have to do is plug 0 in for x. Of course, in this case, all we're going to be left with is 3. So again, we can get a real nice sense of the graph kind of using these points like that. So this is a really slick way to talk about graphing. Let's do one more. This is a rational function. A rational function is one that is two functions that make up a fraction, one in the numerator, one in the denominator. In this case, if I said, I want to find the x-intercept, so I want to figure out the values of x that make 0. Now, I would think about cross-multiplying this. Of course, 0 times anything is 0, and 1 times x minus 2 is x minus 2, and then you'd add 2. And I just want to point out that really all that you need to solve here, when you're saying I need to make this equal to 0, you need to just figure out where the numerator is 0, because figuring out where the denominator is 0 will create asymptotes, because we can't divide a function by 0. And maybe I just really quickly would like to put in that x equals 4 is one of these spikes in the graph, and I have earlier videos about asymptotes, but it's a spot where the graph won't cross, okay? Now my x-intercept, or my y-intercept rather, we plug 0 in, and we get 1/2. So 1/2. So I would guess the graph looks something like this, okay? And then probably something like this. using those intercepts. And I'm also using kind of my knowledge of horizontal asymptotes to kind of fill that graph in. But that's a really nice way to kind of get a sense of where the graph is. So the things to remember are, if you want to know where you hit the x-axis, just set y equal to 0 and use your algebra tools to solve. If you want to see where you hit the y-axis, just set x equal to 0, plug that in, and see what your output is. If this video helped you, please like and subscribe for more math help.